All right, let's jump right in. Today we're looking at something pretty intense, a 40-day gauntlet. This isn't for beginners. This is for all of you out there who know your way around machine learning and are ready to make that huge leap from just understanding the concepts to actually architecting real-world production-grade AI systems.
Okay, so let's be real. You've put in the hours, right? You've got the basics of classical machine learning down pat. You've even built some models. But now you're at that point, asking yourself, okay, what's next? How do I get to that next level? From being a solid practitioner to becoming a true architect.
Well, what if I told you there's a roadmap for that? That's what we're breaking down today. A super focused 40-day plan designed to slingshot you from advanced theory all the way to deploying and managing production-grade AI. So let's dive in and see what this path to becoming a senior AI/ML architect really looks like. Okay, first things first. This roadmap assumes you're not starting from scratch. You've already got classical ML in your back pocket. That's why we're jumping in at day 21 with a 10-day all-out sprint into deep learning. Think of this as laying the concrete foundation for everything else we're going to build.
And this is all about getting your hands dirty. We're talking about mastering the big three. CNNs, that's convolutional neural networks, for everything vision-related. Then RNNs, or recurrent neural networks, for handling sequences. And of course, the model that changed everything, transformers. The tool of choice here, PyTorch. The goal is to get you super comfortable working right on the GPU.
You can see the progression here, and it makes a lot of sense. You start by getting comfortable with the tools, in this case, PyTorch. Then you immediately apply it to a real-world problem, vision, using CNNs. After that, you tackle sequential data with RNNs, which, hey, just so happens to be the perfect stepping stone to really unlocking the massive power of transformers.
And this is not just reading textbooks, okay? A major highlight project is building a real-time object detector with YOLO v5. I mean, how cool is that? You'll be training it on a standard data set like Coco 128, so the skills you're learning are super tangible. Plus, it's an incredible project to have in your portfolio.
So how do you know you've actually succeeded? It's not some fuzzy feeling. The roadmap lays out super clear metrics. You need to have built at least 5 different PyTorch models. You need to have GPU workflows down cold, and you need to hit over 85% accuracy on a transfer learning task. These are real, hard numbers you can aim for. Okay, phase 1 is done. Let's move on. For the next 10 days, we're shifting gears big time and diving headfirst into the world of generative AI. This is where we teach machines to really understand and even generate human language. The focus here is on the whole shebang of a modern NLP app. You'll kick off with the basics, things like tokenization and embeddings, but you're going to move fast. The goal is to be building some really sophisticated large language model applications using powerful tools like RAG, which stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation, and the LangChain. Now, this RAG concept is absolutely key. You can think of it as a 3-step process. First, you feed it your own documents. Maybe it's your company's internal wiki. Second, you make those docs searchable by turning them into vectors. And third, this is the magic part, you use the search results to give the LLM extra context, essentially supercharging its prompt so it can give you a way smarter answer. And again, you're not just reading about it, you're building it. The big project for this phase is to build a full RAG pipeline from the ground up. You'll use your own domain-specific info, say telecom documents, and then deploy it as a live API with Fast API. This is real-world stuff. So by the time you're done with this phase, you don't just get the concepts. No way. You'll have an actual working RAG system built on specific data. You'll have fine-tuned an LLM, and you'll have a production-ready API that's serving it up for anyone to use. All right, on to our third 10-day challenge. We've tackled language, now we tackle time. This phase is all about time series analysis, which is really just a fancy way of saying we're learning to predict the future based on what's already happened. The whole idea here is to push way beyond the classic statistical methods you might already know. You're going to learn how to throw deep learning at forecasting problems, building systems that aren't just accurate, but are tough enough to handle a real production environment. And you can really see that evolution here. On one side, you've got the tried and true classical methods, like ARIMA and Prophet, super powerful. But on the other side, you've got the neural forecasting beasts, like LSTMs and the incredibly powerful temporal fusion transformers. This roadmap says you need to master both. Now, the project for this phase, it's a big one. You're going to build a fully automated production-grade pipeline with Apache Airflow. And what's it going to do? Something really important, like forecasting telecom network traffic. This is the kind of project that gets you noticed. And check out the success metric. It's super specific. You don't just build a model, you have to get under a 5% error rate on your forecasts. And you need to have that automated Airflow pipeline actually up and running in production. That's the bar, that's what separates the pros from everyone else.
We've made it, the final 10 days. This is maybe the most important phase of all, because it's all about MLOps. This is where you stop being just a model builder and you start becoming a true architect, someone who can deploy, manage, and scale everything we've built so far.
Think of this as the final boss battle of the whole journey. You're going to master the architect's blueprint. That means using Docker to make things reproducible, Kubernetes to scale them up, setting up solid monitoring, and then automating the entire thing with CI/CD pipelines. This timeline basically shows you the whole MLOps lifecycle. You start by packaging your environment with Docker, then you track your experiments with something like MLflow, you deploy it at scale with Kubernetes, you watch it like a hawk for performance drift, and then you automate the whole process with CI/CD. It's the full end-to-end picture. So what's the grand prize at the end of this 40-day marathon? It's a complete end-to-end machine learning platform. The final goal is to have it deployed on a Kubernetes service, like Amazon's EKS, and be able to actually show it off live. That's the ultimate proof that you've made the transformation. And that brings us to the payoff. When you take the domain expertise you already have, in this case, telecom, and you combine it with this hardcore hands-on MLOps experience, well, the equation is pretty simple. You've just become what every company is desperately looking for, a senior AI/ML architect. So when you boil it all down, it comes back to this one number, 40 days. That's the timeline, an intense, focused, project-driven plan designed to completely change your career trajectory. So there it is. The path is laid out, the steps are crystal clear, and the end goal is right there in front of you. The only question left is the one on the screen. You've got the roadmap. Are you ready to start on day 21?